All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Yakal coming from GMS, South Carolina Midlands. All right. Before I get into my lesson, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and blessings unto the elect scattered abroad. All right, around the whole earth, the whole world. All right. Mainly in Babylon the Great, Shalom, Shalom, the 144,000 and the 1/3, which consists of the whole remnant, the election, all right, of grace, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, the people that's going to receive salvation via the scriptures, man. All right, Shalom, Shalom. And I just want to do another lesson, just basically going into how Esau, Edom, by evidence and by receipts. And I'm going to use, history and even filter out through the scripture, letting you know that this person was created to be our natural born enemy. All right. The Lord ordained him, created him, and fashioned him to be an adversary against himself and against his own people. All right. Which is you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which is the Israelites. All right. Pursuing to all the curses. That's why these nations always hated you, especially the number one enemy. That's why it's always been friction between the so-called Caucasian race, because it always been like that since hell, Cain and Abel. All right. And always going back into Jacob and Esau. Okay, which Jacob is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All those people came from out of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. Our forefathers. And Esau came from the line of the serpent in the Garden of the Eden, which was a man. All right. And Cain, and then came back as Esau, man, because Cain slew his brother Abel, just like how Esau promised after his father's deathbed that he was going to slew his brother as well, having the same mind frame or the same heart. All right. The lob. All right. Going back via through the spirit, man, because at the end of the day, the Lord created this devil, all right, the so-called Caucasian race, to be our enemies. And our people love to try to play that, let bygones be bygones. All right, a lot of our people are quick to forgive the so-called white man or the white woman. All right, so on and so forth. All right, mainly you women, because a lot of men, men are just men at the end of the day, but you silly women, and some of you silly men too, for the for the Caucasian men. All right, you try to be a little more generous towards the Edomite woman, for many reasons. Hell, Jake, you know how Jake is a plant. They'll supplant a girl emotions and get the box. All right, you know how Jake is, man. But anyway, just summing it all up that our people love the so-called Caucasian race, not understanding that these people, this nation is our enemies. They are our natural born, all around enemies, man. And we was to never trust them since day one. And since day one, since we trusted him, going back to Psalms 55 and verse 20 and 21 on down. All right. And going back through history, if you type up all the treaties that they broke against the so-called Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and all the indigenous people of the so-called New World. All right. All the treaties and deals that they had with these people, and they broke every single last one of them, breaking covenants after covenants, promises after promises. That's just the MO of Esau, Edom. All right. And ultimately, they broke in the brotherly covenant by slaying his brother, by murdering, because there's a difference between murdering and killing. All right. Okay. But let me go straight into the scripture that I have. This is Ecclesiasticus of the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. And it reads, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed of him. Take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wipest a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. All right, because you cannot change the spots of a leopard. All right, you cannot change the ordinance or the creation of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, even though Esau tries to, go against that, and they're contrary, with that by the agendas that they promote and push, and just how they carry themselves. Any person with, a right, like I said, Lamb, and people are just fucking bugged out. But I'm just speaking for the people that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is dealing with on a spiritual level, the elect, whether you be a male or a female. All right, whether for the men, ought to be prophesying, speaking, exalting. All right, even if you're, not a so-called prophet, you still ought to put your hand, in some type of work, some type of, little ministry, or even just giving tidings to the elders, man. All right, because that's well respected, and they well deserve those tithes at the end of the day, and it just coming, via through the spirit, especially if you're really, thankful that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai gave these men the great wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be revealed upon the earth. And, you're not doing your own ministry, and you just, sitting there talking to the men, and, you just sitting there and not doing nothing. You might as well give money up, be, have charity for the ones that don't be a prophet. But you should want to be a prophet, honest and true. All right. This is the time that we shall speak now. Pursuing the Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. It's a time and a purpose for everything. Now it's the time of speaking. Give this devil no rest. Isaiah 62:6. All right. Until Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Because the kingdom of heaven is right around the corner. And you should want that anyway. You should want the kingdom of heaven, man. You should not want, this place to prolong and this and that, the third. And even though you may have, because you may have in your mind, because at the end of the day, we don't know when the Lord is going to come back. That is true. We see the signs. Yes, we do. Do we believe in it? Hell yeah, we do. All right. Do we want them to come? You goddamn right we do. Like I said, we want all these things to come because we know it's the greater good at the end of the day. Sound like those crazy cult movie type guys. OK, this is really for the greater good, because after all this, man, there's no more pain, suffering. See, a lot of people don't understand that, man, how great Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is, and all nations at the end of the day will be at peace, man. All right. But hey, you got one thing: serve Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, bowing down to the laws, talking about to the heathens. OK, because Israel is not going to sin no more. The new covenant with the laws, statutes, and the commandments is going to be written within us, within our inward parts and our spirit, to the point we will not go off. That is a perfect lifestyle to live. And then on top of that, the Lord is going to bring forth the pleasuring things of the flesh, so as sex, man. Sex is going to be in the kingdom of heaven. A lot of people don't believe in that. All right. And it's sad because you still got people amongst our congregation. All right. The people that know that they're Israelites teaching all types of fucked up doctrines, man. Talking about the 2/3 going to burn for all eternity after they sleep for 1,000 years. That's madness. At this point, I think they just doing that just to get more money, man. Because I think, honest the truth, it got to be via through the spirit. The elites knowing that their time is running out. So with the people that they have in ties with, man, I really feel via through the spirit that they really doing some underhanded shit and getting down, and persuading and deceiving these leaders, man, to saying the most. If you say the outmost landish shit and confuse the people as much as you can, that's when more money is going to come in your pockets. I promise. I'm just feeling that through the spirit, man, because as we draw more and more and nigh closer to prophecies ending off and certain things popping off, Now they going back and stuff, of course, what Great Millstone been uncovered. They are Israelites at the end of the day. All Israel shall be saved, man. That is part of the promise, man. I'm trying not to use foul language. That is part of the promise. What is so hard to get? That is not hard to get, man. If your bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, well, Salakia on that. If your bloodline go back to Jacob, all right, even your great forefathers, those are the great forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man, through those lineage. And if you come through, especially if you, that's how the only way because if you come through one, you got to come through all three, to be real. That's why I say it like that. If you come through one, you got to come through all three. So us being Israelites, us being Israel, Jacob's name was turned into Israel. Okay. And we are the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Going back to Genesis, the 49th chapter. That's how you get the understanding of it. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 10 again. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. All right, the wickedness, man. All right, at the end of the day, you can't change these devils because it's in their genotype. It's in their DNA. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at thy last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, and or any such as come nigh wild beasts? And that's a comparison. That's one of the metaphors of you dwelling and being around the wicked at the end of the day, man. Okay, that's one of them, man. That's one of the the breakdowns of this scripture. You got to comply that to the wicked being revealed, which is the Edomite nation. If that's the Edomite nation, your best bet is not to trust, man, because it's already bad enough you can't trust 2/3 of your own people, let alone a Edomite, man. And if you do business with them, just supplant them, just like how they plan on supplanting, because that's how through the spirit that we have to be twin brothers, man. We came literally from the same lineage, but he was rejected at the end of the day. How crazy is that? All right. Kahalayam la Yahaba Shem Yahweh, man. All right. The so-called white man, the red man, was rejected. If you got woolly hair, melanin in your skin, okay, under the curses, really, really and truly, and your spirit goes back to the Israelite, hey, you good. You're in the kingdom of heaven. All right. You was not rejected at the end of the day. But yeah, man, hey, that's powerful within itself, because they both came from Isaac, and the scriptures saying in Genesis, 2 nations was in thy womb, 2 manners of people. That means 2 different people. 2 different nations was going to be in one woman, and no, she did not commit adultery. The Lord set it up like that. People don't understand. See, that's carnal thinking. Oh, she had a side dude. She been already pregnant, so he had damn bust a nut after her, and damn, and now his baby in there. No, hell no. With that being said, it would be both of the side dude, if that the case. And people fail to understand. Back in these times, women didn't have shit but her man. That's another thing people fail to realize. Women, you did not have nothing. I repeat, nothing back then, man. Your father, it was up to your father's decision to determine if he want you to deal with this man or not. And most of the time, it was going to be an older man. How about that? And most likely, probably going to be a prophet, a man of the Lord, you know, a high royal family, somebody with status. All right. And back then the prophets had status, whether people believe it or not. They just, you know, back then they just did the same shit that they're doing now, scoff and scorn. And they continued in their folly until death. Verse 14, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him and his sins, who will pity? All right, while it's on the membrane, let me go to Psalms 55. I quoted it earlier. While it's on the membrane. This is Psalms chapter 55 and 20. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him, going back to, you know, the history when they encountered with the Northern Kingdom. All right, going back in that time, Christopher Columbus and all those other times that they so-called, I say so-called, established a new world, man. All right, the known new world, which according to, I believe, Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, or the 14th chapter, it says that the Northern Kingdom escaped basically the Assyrian captivity in a nutshell and went into a world where mankind never dwell. All right, you can type that in the research of the Bible, KJV, where mankind never dwell. And it's going to pop up. The scripture is going to pop up, man. Okay. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant, going back into all the treaties, man. All right. The main covenant that they basically broke, because these Edomites knew that these were the Israelites. And they knew via through history that they were the enemies. And via through Amalek, man. Because according to the scriptures, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai was going to war with Amalek throughout generations and generations. And through the spirit, Amalek knows that, man. That's why they're on top. That's why they're in the #1 seat. That's what the bloodlines and the royal families of Esau Edom, man. If you look at it in a nutshell. Verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawing swords. And our people love this devil, man. Our people love this devil. Our people really forgot what happened to him back in the past, and it's just because that they got conquered so badly, and they really have Stockholm syndrome. Okay, they really love the oppression and love their masters, man. Not knowing this was all a curse unto us via through prophecies and us being disobedient. Trying to see where I'm gonna start at, cause it's a lot of meat, you know, explaining on how we're the people of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the people of the Bible, you know, that fits this prophecy, man. Okay, I think. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 36. The Lord Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone, you know, basically idol worship. And throughout, you know, prophecies and generations, we was going to go into under different captivities, man. All right. This was basically all prophesied, letting it be known that we was going to go through different times and eras and millenniums of captivities. All right. That our rulers, kings. All right. King David. All right. Went under captivity along with us. OK. All the prophets, the great men of the Lord went under captivity. All Israel went under these curses, man, at the end of the day. And they served nations neither their fathers have known and has served the gods, man. All right. Wood and stone, man. We didn't know these nations because we didn't know these gods because it wasn't of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh, while Yahweh Shah shall lead thee. All right, calling us all types of negative, provocative terms, and like just words and different meanings of words in a negative way. All right, niggers, colored, Mexican, Puerto Rican, all these names that's not known, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Via through the Paleo Hebrew, the La Shawan Kwadash, the holy language. All right. Is, Yahawada, Judah, so-called, Negroes and so-called African Americans. All right. But like I say, these are names that we are being called in today's time and society. Black, nigger, Negro, and colored, and Mexican, and Puerto Rican, and so on and so forth. That's the proverb and a byword. All right. Among all nations, man. Let me jump down. Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All right. And the best way of breaking that down in today's time is the American system, man. All right. Soon as a baby be born, you have to assign it over to the state. All right. Once it has a social security number, that's basically mean it's a federal property. OK, if I'm not mistaken. So on and so forth. Basically, as soon as you being born in this world, your children are going straight into captivity. They're being brought up. Isn't that? And we're still under all captivity, too, through, the Social Security, the birth certificates, and, the Social Security and the birth certificates, and so on and so forth. All the information that they need to find out who you are and where you from and how you move, to the bank accounts and all. I'm trying to find that scripture. I'm just scrolling down looking in Salakia. Got to be... I don't know. I know it's in Deuteronomy 28. Salakia, y'all. There you go. Salakia. Tawada Yahbashim Yahweh. All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall sin against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put forth a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All right. And right now we have the spiritual yoke of iron upon our necks. But back then we literally had physical irons upon our necks, man. All right. Via slavery, captivity, hardcore slavery, man. But now it's more mental on the mind, and just giving out little goodies here and there just to keep you at a dead state, a non-rebellious state, man. All right. And we got to go to this devil for the want of all things. If we want land and ownership of things and blah, 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 we want this and want that. No matter what, we have to go to the oppressor. All right. The ones that's in rulership, because we're not in rulership, because if we were, we wouldn't be the tail of today's time. We would be the head. We would be the ones that's in rulership, the ones that's always prospering. All Israel basically would have been prospering right about now. But through the curses, it's not like that. Verse 49, the Lord Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of a fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shall shew favor to the young. All right, and that's the point I wanted to get. The Wadi Habashim Yahweh. Okay, those are the people, and it just so happened, the symbol of different, Edomite empires were some type of bird/eagle creature. All right. Letting it be known through the scriptures how to identify this certain individual. This is the only person really on the earth that has that symbol as an eagle, really. All right. Even though other nations do too, but other nations wasn't as fierce as this nation right here, Esau, Edom, man. All right. Because they did not regard. OK. They did not regard the person of old and didn't show favor unto the young. And that happened through slavery. You have a book called Without a Sanctuary. All right. That alone should let you know how terrible the nation of Edom is, man. In this place, in Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter. All right. That should let you know what type of model that these people really have towards you people. All right. But, everything's in calm mode right now. Everything's in stealth mode, as I like to, say right now. All right. But soon the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh shall crank these motherfuckers up. Then Jake gonna realize that these devils been it gonna be like I said. And then on top of that, you already got people with anxiety, aggression. When this society collapses and people are not really going to be held they're not going to be held accountable at all for their actions. You already know they're going to let loose. They're going to let loose, man, and not going to fucking stop until they die, until they damn conquer whatever they have to conquer. And I'm talking about all nations. When this shit really go down and collapse, it's a wrap, man. Let me go to this and then let you know the news. The blacknews.com says research reveals that black children were fed to hogs and used as alligator bait in the early 1900s. All right. And you can read this article in your spare time. Lord will, I try to remember to put it in the description box so you can read it like that. But yeah, this is basically letting it be known, how terrible the people are. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai will not leave this devil unpunished. All right. You should want, a higher God, a higher power to execute judgments or payback unto your enemies regardless. All right. You do that amongst your own people. You do that amongst your own community. Why you can't do that amongst the heathen? Because at the end of the day, you are destroyed, Jake. You really lost the way the way of, hey, just the way in general, man. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has not chosen you. All right, because for you to come back into this glorious light, this glorious wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that's when you're going to know and understand and want all these things to come to pass, man. All right, the heathens being under captivity, payback. Oh man, I can't wait. As you being in the flesh right now, you thinking of putting, heathens, how you gonna have your heathens, man. If they jump out of line, how you gonna damn mess them up? All the heathen women, And yes, we can deal with heathen women, man. We're the chosen people of God, man. We're Yasha Allah. But what fucked us up in times of old, in times of past, we started worshiping their gods. We started picking up their customs. It's just that simple. All right. And we had to have, children with them. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't no such thing as called pull out condoms. Really STDs and stuff like that. All that shit no. We was too godlike. All the stuff that happened in the Bible, that really happened. It's a whole history book that really happened. All those different names and spirits that's in that book that they name are pretty sure are walking around today as we speak. We just don't know who it is. We don't know what's what and blah, blah, blah. All we know, us to prophesy through the spirit and power Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. And like I said, as I'm talking, you can read this as yourself. Okay. But these devils are going to pay, man. They're going to pay. Especially, like I said, that book, Without a Sanctuary. All right. That's a good book to read and look into. And it lets you know, like, this racism shit, it shit never stopped, man. It may be slowed down, but the shit never stopped. And lo and behold, the Lord is going to stir up another civil war. All right, and it's going to be way worse than ever before, man. At the end of the day. And the reason I typed this man name up, Thomas Thistlewood, because I remember I was on Instagram and I had seen this dude had came up and what he was and how he had did the tribe of Benjamin, all right, over there in Jamaica or whatever. And it said Thomas Thistlewood, March 16, 1721, November 30th, until November 30th, 1786, was a British citizen who migrated to Western Jamaica, where he became a plantation overseer, all right, a slave owner, and an owner of land, property, and slaves. See, his diary is considered an important historical document chronicling the history of Jamaica and slavery during the 18th century. He is also known for keeping a detailed account of the treatments of his slaves as well as his sexual relationships with them. Fucking P-E-D, ooh. P-E-D, ooh. That's all I'm going to say. Look at it. All his slaves were branded with TT on their right shoulders. Boy, this motherfucker got to pay. Branding them, boy. Okay, let me keep reading down. And this from the same passage.com or .org. Yeah, .org. Samepassage.org. A sugar producing island. All right, so the island in Jamaica was an island producing of sugar, man. was by far the richest colony in all the British Empire, even though Thistlewood was only of average wealth in white Jamaican society. That said, he was at the time of his death still far wealthier than most British men in other parts of the British Empire. And it's crazy because I remember this Jamaican dude always used to say, we got conquered by the British. We got conquered by the British because he swear he had so much knowledge and shit like that, not knowing that I already knew, they got conquered by them because we all got conquered by the same people. All right, the same nation under different titles. All right, he didn't knew that. Even though I tried to explain to him, but he just wanted to talk his shit, But that's how Jake is, man. I always wanted to talk. It says Thistlewood was a self-educated and prolific reader for his time, and even more so the British colony society. He often practiced medicine on his slaves and were knowledgeable in botany and horticulture, slave brutality, and debris dose. Accordingly, Thistlewood routinely punished his slaves with fierce flogging and other cruel and gruesome punishments. One of his performed punishment for the runaway slaves were the derby's dose, when a slave would be beaten and then salt, pickle, lime juice, and bird pepper would be rubbed onto the open wounds. Oh my God, what the fuck? Then another slave would be forced to defecate into the runaway's mouth. Wait.
Defecate.
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 Defecate. What the hell that mean? Oh no. See there, the knowledge of power, the power of knowledge. These devils got to fucking go, man. What? Discharge feces from the body. Open one's bowel, have a bowel movement. Feces. Then another slave would be forced to defecate into the runaway's mouth, which would then be forced shut. Oh, Lord. Via various methods, gagging for hours. The breeze dose. Brothers, this devil got to go. Devil got to go. Yep. And I'm pretty sure he probably rubbed the feces on the wounds too. Knowing this fucking sick devil, And there you have it, man. Thomas Thistlewood. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to read. Though Thistlewood, and it says sexual exploits and blah blah. Though Thistlewood never married, his sexual exploits were prolific, with his diary chronicling 3,852 acts of sexual intercourse and or rape with 138 women, nearly all of whom were black slaves. He had a lifelong relationship with a slave named Pibla, who seems essentially became his wife, as she was called in the will. Damn. And had his only son, Mulatto mulatto, John, over their 33-year-old relationship, Pibla and Thistlewood developed what Barnell calls a warm and loving relationship, if such a thing were possible, between a slave owner and her master. See, now fell in love with the fucking master. But at the end of the day, what can you expect? All right, he conquered her, and it'd be the same way if the dude, if he would have conquered a dude. And a lot of, you gotta remember buck breaking. Let's not forget that. They had a whole movie slash basically a documentary and a movie basically together about that shit, man. These devils gonna have to pay for what they done. But meanwhile, our people still be trying to save these niggas, man. Why thou trimmest thy way to seek love, man? At the end of the day, you're gonna be destroyed with these motherfucking devils, man. If you decide to keep going along with them and believe in their philosophies, all is one, universalism, and we shall overcome, all that bullshit, man. No, man. Those days are over. Those days never should have really started. This is Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 12. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Allahayim powers, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Allahayim powers, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Allahayim powers. So judgment is coming upon the nation of Edom, man. All right, Obadiah 1:18. Which I'm going to get in a few. Because, the Lord remember all these acts. The Lord required which is past, man. The Lord say you reap what you sow. Matter of fact. I'm glad I said that. Job chapter 4 verse 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity, sins upon sin, they build up a whole track record, and sow wickedness, reap the same. You're going to reap the same benefits and the reward of that. And that is death. All right. Destruction. Total annihilation. Let me see. God is not mocked. Yeah. Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived. The Most High Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. All right, and Esau, Edom is reaping for destruction and of the flesh, man, and corruption. That's what they're doing, man. They're NWO, trying to have everybody technologically tagged. All right, they're trying to have everybody tagged, but that's prophecy, man. All right, according to Revelation 13:16. But the Most High is not mocked, man. He's reaping and sowing wickedness. All right, and the benefits of that is a downfall, man. Total annihilation, destruction. Okay. Go back to Ezekiel 35. Prophesy against Mount Seir. 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Allahayim powers. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, because they furthered the affliction, man. No matter what these devils say, man, without a sanctuary, that book will reflect nobody did nothing. Nobody tried to stop. You are your forefathers and your foreparents coming back in your lot, man. Whether you deceiving yourself or not. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, Allahayim powers, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, basically take thee over, conquer you. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, because you did not hate, drawing and murdering people, drawing blood and murdering people, man. You defiled the land by shedding the blood of thereof. All right. You defiled the people first. All right. Then you ultimately conquered the land of Israel. And now you're still conquering the different lands and different regions that these people still dwell. Prime example, Flint, Michigan. All right. Different areas where Jake's normally at in the projects or in the bad, rough neighborhoods. Esau doing some unruly shit, some crafty counsels. Okay. In a nutshell. Verse 7, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it that passeth out, and him that returneth. All right. The Lord is going to cut these damn Edomites out, man. All right. Isaiah 6, the 63rd chapter, he's going to come and visit Bosrath, man, the chief city of Edom. And the new Bosrath is basically Babylon the Great, America, man. All right. The number one empire of rulership in today's time. Edom will be humbled. The day of the Lord and the future. Obadiah 1:15, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai is near upon all the heathen, and thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Basically, captivity, payback. They shall drink all the dregs thereof, slavery. All right, Salakia. They're going to be under captivity forever under the Israelite, or under the vibration, the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, under the Israelites' rule, man. All right, via Yahweh Shai's kingdom that's going to be upon the whole earth. All right, the place of Jerusalem. Verse 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be delivered, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. All right, these nations, these lands. All right, all the riches and the substance, their labor too. Verse 18, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, which is the northern kingdom, Ephraim and Manasseh, all right, and also ultimately the northern kingdom, the whole house, and a flame and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plains of the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of the hosts of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarpath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Shepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. The kingdom of Esau shall be Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because that's who's going to conquer it, man. But the Lord is still going to use us as payback for what they done to us, you know, throughout history. And we're still going through some atrocities and stuff now. We're still seeing people getting put to death by so-called Caucasian people. All right. Especially during the times of police brutality, and ultimately the elites, man, what they're ultimately trying to plan to do. All right. And the ones that's going to take his device, he's going to have to, you know, pay back for their, you know, ignorance by taking that device. All right. Because the Lord ultimately got this nigga in a trick bag. He's not going to win. He's in a lose-lose situation, and just accept your fate. Esau, Edom, the so-called Caucasian race, man. All right. Praying that this video was edifying. That was the last, you know, part of it. All right. Closing out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakah Kwadash, Kahalayam La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach us the truth through the spirit and power. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect out there, which consists of the 144,000 of leaders of Israel, the prophets, all right, and the 1/3, man, which is men, women, and children, man, all right, which consists of the remnant, all right, the election of grace. Till next time, I say shalom, shalom.